Good evening from Kenya's capital, Nairobi, on this 20th day of July 2014, a day that KOTU have issued threats to strike and the day the dusk to dawn curfew takes effect in Lamu County. Those are some of the stories in the news front tonight on Ebro Africa Primetime News. But first, the news making headlines this hour. Not so fast. Leaders in civil society opposed to Lamu County curfew.
Kama hatupati kwa ajili courts are independent, tarehe 4 mnaenda kwa mgomo.
Our jobs or we strike, KOTU's ultimatum to government. Gaza attack, 60 new deaths as thousands flee for safety. Many thanks for joining us. I'm Gakunyi. In our top story, the Central Organization of Trade Unions KOTU has given Labour Cabinet Secretary Kazungu Kambi till August 4th to reverse the retirement of KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli and Federation of Kenya Employers Director Jacqueline Mugo from the NSSF Trustees Board, or else they'll go on a nationwide strike. To matters security now, a dusk to dawn curfew imposed on Lamu County by Inspector General of Police David Kimayo began today at 6:30 p.m. The curfew has elicited mixed reactions among leaders as well as civil society. Civil society groups in Coast demand the curfew be lifted in respect of Ramadan prayers by Muslims. Joining in this call is National Assembly Majority Leader Aden Duale, saying denying Muslim faithful their religious obligation on this holy month is unacceptable.
National Assembly Majority Leader.
Still with matters security, 4 people, among them 3 men and 1 woman, who police termed as terror suspects, were arrested in Majengo slums here in Nairobi today with materials capable of making explosives. They were taken in at Buruburu police station for having in their possession 62 pieces used in making explosives, 11 mobile phones and 34 rolls of bang. The 4 were arrested after police were tipped off by members of the public that they were assembling the materials. Police are yet to know the intended destination or target of the explosive materials. The suspects were handed over to the Anti-Terror Police Unit for further interrogation and profiling. The arrest came in the wake of intensified anti-terror operations in the city and other regions. Buruburu OCPD Richard Kerich has urged the public to provide such information to the police to help combat terror threats. In a move to deal with rising youth unemployment, foreign investors and those eyeing government contracts will now be required to demonstrate the number of jobs they'll create for the youth before being allowed to set up businesses in the country. Devolution Cabinet Secretary Anne Waiguru says the new requirement is outlined in the new National Employment Policy, which is currently awaiting Parliament's approval. This as Jubilee government attempts to fulfill one of its key campaign pledges. Moving on, mediators and participants at the Brazzaville Forum to discuss the Central African Republic crisis should reject any calls for an amnesty for serious human rights crimes. Amnesty International says the CR National Reconciliation talks due to take place in Brazzaville, Republic of Congo on 21st to 23rd July should ensure that their discussions respect the fact that human rights violations have been committed in the Central African Republic and justice should prevail. Gunmen killed 21 Egyptian military border guards near the frontier with Libya on Saturday, highlighting a growing threat from an area that security officials say has become a haven for militants seeking to topple the Cairo government.
The attack took place in Wadi al-Gadid Governorate, which...
The sandy soil, short rainy season, cheap land and abundant labor make Ethiopia ideal grapes growing territory, and the government is hoping these favorable conditions will attract more foreign investment and boost the country's economy and image abroad.
Vineyards of Merlot, Syrah and Chardonnay grapes.
Wisdom from the adage put it best. Life is like a coin. You can spend it in any way you wish, but you only spend it once. And it is in recognition of a life well spent that South Africa this past week, through a set of limited gold and silver coins, honored African icon, the late Nelson Mandela.
Thanks to me.
South Africa launched a set of limited edition gold and silver coins to honor former President Nelson Mandela.
Away from Africa, and it was another bloodiest day in Gaza, death toll escalating. Fresh Israeli bomb killed at least 20 people in Gaza today as thousands of people fled Gaza's eastern Shujaiya district after a brutal night of shelling. The deaths brought the toll to nearly 400 Palestinians and 7 Israelis, including 2 civilians who have died since the operation began on July 8th. At some point, the Israel army called for a 2-hour ceasefire to allow emergency operators to respond to the injured, but that lasted for a few minutes after Hamas dishonored the truce. Meanwhile, United Nations Relief and Works Agency has recorded 70,000 refugees in their schools.
Emergency service providers said the bodies of at least 20 people from Shujaiya had been retrieved, with hundreds of people wounded. The toll is expected to rise significantly.
From one devastating story to another, even before the world begins its journey of healing following the unfortunate event that struck down the Malaysian Airlines MH17, a call from international bodies for access to the crash site have been denied. New details indicate that MH17's black boxes were carried away by East Ukrainian rebel group. The rebels also moved 196 bodies from the wreckage site. Rebel leader Borodai defended the moving of bodies, saying it was inhumane to leave them outside for so long.
Negotiations continue between the Ukrainian government and pro-Russian militants.
And that MH17 story brings us to an end of today's edition of Ebro Africa Primetime News. Many thanks for watching. I'm Gakunyi. I leave you with tomorrow's weather forecast.